fill your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort flow inside you.
Hi, welcome to Healing Outside the Box. I'm Rosemary LaChance, an energy healer and a spiritual teacher and advisor.
Hi, and I'm Carla Augustin, a spiritual teacher and your co-host for tonight.
Tonight we are continuing our Life Explained series, which will give you food for thought information about spirituality based on the teachings of Hans Wilhelm from his series. We will play one or two different DVDs and then have dialogue about it. We encourage you to call or email or write us, or write to NHTV if you prefer. And with your questions, we will answer them privately or on the show. This is not a religious show, and no matter what religion or belief you follow, the information we give you will only enhance your beliefs. We do not try to convince you of anything. This series is recorded and will be shown in your area on your local public service cable network. Please contact them for dates and times.
Please visit Rosemary's or Hans's website, where you're going to find a wealth of information about our show and this series. Now, our shows are available for you to watch on YouTube for free. Just go on YouTube and type in Healing Outside the Box to make your choices. We are constantly adding new shows, so please keep checking back. We're also on Facebook under Healing Outside the Box. Please like our page for the latest information about our show, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Okay, tonight is show number 238, and the title is Stop Being a Victim and Abortion. We're going to start off with the first DVD, Stop Being a Victim, as soon as the control room gets it up on the monitor.
Hi, I am Hans Wilhelm. Today I invite you to take a look at victimhood from a different perspective. The question is, can we still be a victim? If there are no accidents in life and everything happens for us and not to us for our return home, let us explore this together. Let us say we are A and we are harassed, bullied, mistreated, or even mentally or physically tortured by this big guy here, whom we call B. Naturally, we feel victimized by him, and our ego is quick to self-righteously condemn and vilify him. He is evil, he is bad, he is cruel. But once we are willing to take an inquiring look at our circumstance and ask ourselves, how did we ever get into this situation, we may find some very surprising answers. The entire universe is running on the law of attraction, and this law is also the basis for all our relationships, including person B. We both have got something in common that pulls us together, like attracts like. For instance, it could be that B is expressing what we have been suppressing. We might be very abusive to ourselves in our thinking and even acting, like an inner dialogue. I am no good, I am worthless, and so on. And B is just expressing that anger in a physical or verbal way. So B comes into our life just like a mirror to reflect back to us our inner abuse to ourselves. I go deeper into this in my video on the law of projection. In most cases, the abuser has also been abused by others earlier in his life. Therefore, we say hurt people hurt people. Again, it is always the law of attraction, like attracts like. It can also be a karmic entanglement, where we were once in opposite roles in a previous lifetime, meaning we were the abuser and B suffered our abuses. And in our present lifetime, we have to learn and experience the pain and suffering we have caused B, or another person, in a previous lifetime. It's simply our karma coming back to us so that we learn and grow. It can also be that we have made a soul contract with B prior our incarnation, in which B agreed to help us grow. His abuse could help us to become stronger, more compassionate, understanding, and open us to the suffering of others. So in this case, B came into our life very much like a coach, just like in athletics, where the coach intentionally gives his team hard challenges to excel. He may also be manipulated by negative forces, which is again based on the law of attraction. These are just some of the many possibilities why B is in our life and gives us such a hard time. So when we now take a step back, we can see that everything fits together and that it is not an accident why we are in this situation. It's all based on the law of attraction, the law of karma, or prearranged commitment. Therefore, as I've said before, irrespective how horrible, despicable, and offensive the other person is, he or she is always an angel in disguise. In his essence, he is as divine as you and me. So if we now take a further step back from this scene, we might be able to see that the other person, B, only came into our life to wake us up and move us forward on our way home. Again, nothing has happened to us, but only for us. With this deeper understanding, we might be able to forgive B for whatever we think B has done to us. And if that is hard for us to do, let us remember Christ's words some 2,000 years ago, forgive each other 70 times 7 times. Now let us take a further step back. When we again look at the entire situation, we may be at awe seeing the incredible perfection behind everything. And when we deeply feel how everything in life is here for our benefit and growth, we can ask ourselves, is there still a need for forgiveness? And as we step back further, our understanding deepens even more so. We might now be able to actually thank the person for whatever he has done to help us on our journey. I always like the image of the raw diamond. If we see ourselves as a raw diamond, we may curse the work of the cutter, grinder, and polisher, and may even call them evil. But without their efforts, our radiant beauty would never be revealed. Therefore, in the teachings of the Hawaiian mystical path of Ho'oponopono, we say to everybody, and particularly to people like B, I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. This is the ultimate response to our difficult situation, actually to every situation. Now can we understand why Christ said, love your enemies? He invites us to see everything from his higher perspective, from the perspective of love. Now it's important to note that even though we are loving our enemies for the lessons they have shown us and forgiven them for the abuse, it doesn't mean we need to forget. We must never allow ourselves to be mistreated in any way by another person. We are not here to endure the pain or suffering others inflict on us. On the contrary, we must do everything possible to stop it in any way it is feasible for us. We do this not only for our own sake, but also for the good of the abuser, which is B. Remember, just like you and me, B also has the free will. And the abuse of his own free will creates further karma for him. So it's our responsibility to stop it also for his sake. We can take measures to prevent further attack or abuse by setting boundaries and maybe even take legal action. However, we can do it now not from revenge, but instead from love. A final note. This deeper understanding is only meant for our own personal situation. It is never our place to speculate the spiritual reasons why other people or groups of people, past or present, are either victims or victimizers. That is between them and God alone. Our only task is to serve, assist, and love both the victim as well as the victimizer. I know what I have shared in this video is very controversial for many viewers who have seen for a long time themselves and others as victims. But I invite you to deeply ponder on this information and see whether it resonates with your heart or in your soul. Only there will you find the answer if that what I've presented here is true for you or not. And if you're not sure, you may want to watch this video again. I'm very much looking forward to see you next time.
Yeah, I know.
Interesting,
yeah,
huh?
It was a good one.
I know, because what do we ever cry victim?
Yeah,
oh my God.
We're hearing it more and more in this, in our country anyways. You know, all these victims all of a sudden are surfacing and coming forward, and, you know.
It gets you pity.
and
people love that. It gets you drama. It gets you to be the center of attraction. It gets you, poor dear, all that kind of thing. Yeah, gets you money sometimes.
Right,
so.
right. But does it get you peace?
No,
They
think so.
Does it get you peace of mind? Does it really bring inner peace? Does it, that's the thing. I mean, I think it's important to acknowledge you're a victim, but then move forward, and what are you going to do about it that you're a victim, not stay in victimhood.
Well, if you're really a victim, like if you're being abused by your husband, if you're being beat up by your husband, or abused at work, or something that's really,
yes,
that's a different kind of victim. That is totally a different kind of victim. But when something's done to you and it's over, it's time to let it go.
Right.
Okay? The person, is out of your life and whatever. It's time to let it go and not keep using it. People will dwell on it and use it and tell everybody and tell more people, and every time they tell the story, they reinforce it again in the atmosphere, which brings that negativity to you,
right. So no matter whether it's big or small, the abuse or feeling bullied or where you feel a victim, it's just a matter of changing and kind of taking care of it. So he brings up, even if you are being abused, like, you need to take action to do something about it, not put up with it. Nobody's suggesting anybody put up with abuse.
No.
Or put up with bullies.
I know.
Nobody's not suggesting that.
Exactly.
All right, so I wanted to begin with, he basically is saying, if you believe everything happens for us, not to us, okay? Even when we come up against negative things in our life, they're happening for us, basically, for us to learn, I guess, and experience, but not to us. So he says, can we even be a victim then? Is it possible to be a victim if you believe everything happens for us and not to us? What do you think about that?
That's a good question. I would say more that we think we're victims. Okay? Other people will call us victims if they see, oh, you poor dear, this happened to you, and you'll get all the attention you want. But in essence, you're right. We're not victims. We're never victims. Because we chose our life. We chose what wanted to happen. We chose how we wanted to do it. Whether we follow through on that or not is another thing. So, yeah, you're right. We're not victims. Nobody's a victim. That's what I'm saying. Nobody is a victim. Even if you're beaten up, by your husband and so forth and so on, you're still not a victim, but you don't have to take that.
Right. You're supposed to do something about that.
You do something about it. Maybe that was your karma for this lifetime. Maybe that's what you wanted to learn, was how to stop this kind of abuse from happening to you.
Yes.
Maybe you can help others with it. You just never know what it could be. All you got to know is what's right and what's wrong, and do unto others, and follow that, and you'll get your answers. So yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, well, that's what he
Everything
said.
is done for us.
That's what he says. Everything's done for us and not to us, and it's an interesting concept when we think about that. Because even if we just start with something small, I mean, I think it's hard to start with, my husband abused me for years.
Right.
So it's hard to start with something like that. It happened for me. Start with something small. Start with the fact, like, you were in a traffic jam and you need to be somewhere. Instead of getting upset, why does this always happen to me? Why do I always take the wrong road? Instead of that, kind of stop it and think, why is this happening? What am I learning? Am I learning patience? Am I learning I really need to start out earlier? I do this to myself every time, and I'm self-abusive doing this to myself every time. Running late. What am I learning?
That's right.
So start with little things and ask yourself, why is this happening for me, not to me? If a friend cancels on you, why is this happening for me, not to me?
Yeah. What's it trying to teach me?
Yeah, don't take it as an insult. Just, why is it happening?
There's another thing that I had read too, was that when we get abused, I'm talking about being hit.
Yes.
Being somehow, physically a hit and everything. Look at how you're treating yourself. Do you like yourself? Do you hit yourself mentally all the time? slapping yourself, or some people will do things to themselves. They'll cut themselves and they'll do things to themselves. And that's only a reflection of what you do to yourself. This person is obliging you and giving you what you want, to be hit, to be pushed around, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
You think you're nothing, you're worthless. I'm not worth anything. Pow, you're worth another pow, that kind of thing. So that's another form, too.
Well, that was my next question, because, because he gets into that. He gives the example of the bully. Okay, so we have a bully who's bullying us. So he gave reasons for it, and one of them was they represent something in the victim. They're basically mirroring something back, like an inner abuse to ourselves, So I was going to ask you to explain that, but you started. No, you already did. You started doing that. But take that example. What about, with children that are bullied? That can't be the reason that they're reflecting.
Children that are bullied that's a karmic thing.
That's a karmic thing, unfortunately, really, for children.
Yeah. Eek. Oh, yeah. You start really. Well, a child can come into, be born, only live a year.
Right.
That's all he had to be here for whatever reason.
Right.
That's all he had to be here, and he may have done that and passed over to give his parents a lesson, to bring karma to them, to teach them
something. Yeah.
Something. Everything is for a reason. Nothing ever happens to someone without a reason. If there was no reason, God wouldn't be God, and this wouldn't be a perfect God and
why
heaven.
Would we come?
Yeah, and all of it.
Why would we
so
come?
You have to trust that.
Right.
You have to trust it. Everything that's done is for a reason, and that reason is always your spiritual growth. Always your spiritual growth, no matter what it is. And that's hard to look at, because we take back to the title. We want to be a victim, so we could say "poor me" and get everybody to just give us all this attention and everything.
Right.
That's what we do. And say, well, I don't have to do anything about it because it was done to me.
Because it was done to me.
So I don't have to do anything. I can just sit here and feel sorry for myself. So.
Right.
And you have a hard time when you tell somebody everything's done for you, not to you. People don't want to hear that.
Yeah, no.
They really want to be a victim.
Nobody wants to hear it. Well, or is it an excuse? You have to ask yourself, am I saying excuse? I've got a terrible boss. He hates me. He's never going to advance me. And that could all be true. Nobody's saying it's not true. You have a terrible boss and he does hate you and he's not about to promote you. But are you a victim? Do you have to stay there? Can you work towards something else? Can you do something else? Or are you going to sit with, there's nothing I can do, my boss hates me? So do you stay stuck, which is not the spiritual journey, right?
No,
Spirituality is about not staying stuck. It's about moving forward all the time.
Yeah, because the longer you postpone it, the longer it's going to take you. And if you don't finish it in this lifetime, you'll have to come back and finish it.
Finish it anyways, yeah.
It's got to be finished eventually.
Right. Right.
And you've wasted the incarnation.
Right. So, okay, and then he also says as a reason, I thought it was an interesting saying. I never heard of it before, because he talks about it being karmic, why the bully is the bully. And he said that the quote is, hurt people hurt people. So,
say that again, the what?
Hurt people, so people that have been hurt.
Yeah.
Hurt.
Will hurt others. Oh,
will hurt people. So
definitely.
Hurt people. And
do you know where that's big?
What?
Animals.
Oh.
People who have been hurt will hurt animals. Only because they can.
Only because they can.
Because animals trust. Because people can do horrendous things to animals, and they're victims. Animals are the only victims on this planet. They have no karma. Okay, they're put here for us.
Oh, that's a good thing to think about, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah,
so
they're put here for us.
When we hurt the animals, it's because we were bullied, or because we're jealous of seeing them get attention from some other people. Oh, he's just an animal. Look what he's getting, and look what happened to me. That kind of thing.
Okay.
There's a reason why people abuse animals and hurt them and kill them. They take their anger out on them. They feel powerful over the animal. They don't have their power.
Well, it makes
sense.
They
felt their power was taken away from them.
Yeah.
So this gives them the power back.
Do this, yeah.
And then when they wake up and realize what horrendous things they've done to this innocent thing, that's going to pile a big karma on them. Oh my goodness, But that's where it comes out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that makes sense. All right. So he said, if we were the abuser in another life and others suffered from our abuse, then maybe we come back and we're experiencing being abused, right?
Right.
So But don't we know in afterlife, say we were an abuser in this life or we were a bully, don't we know once we get to afterlife, and we never corrected the situation, right? So we go to afterlife, I mean, don't we know how do we, I mean, I thought part of like the life review was we know how we treated people and we know how we made them feel.
Okay.
So why would we come back? Just to pay off karmic debt, or to actually pay off a debt, or to truly experience for
All of it.
All of it. Okay.
Because people think that once they pass over, they're going to know all the answers. Or they're going to be an angel. All the terrible things they did is just going to drop off them.
Right. No, that doesn't happen. Yeah.
What it is when you pass over, picture this. There's the body drops. Spirit's still standing there. Nothing's changed. Spirit goes to the other side of life. Body's finished. Spirit is still the same person he was in that body.
Yes.
His thoughts,
personalities,
likes, dislikes, habits, whatever, are still there. Okay, it's still in him.
Yes.
So he goes over and they're going to say, well, you see what you did? You bullied this person and all that. Well, I didn't. That person was stupid. That person deserved. See, that's what you're going to be. You don't become.
You're going to make excuses.
Poof, I'm an angel. You know, when you pass over. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you're still the same person.
I remember, and I read in some book about afterlife that, and you know, everybody's got their theories, but that when we're shown life review and like just not even an abuser, but just say we've just been nasty, right? Somebody didn't deserve it, but we bite their head off and we never apologize. You know, we witness that in the life review.
Right.
And we feel ashamed. I mean,
well, some people are in the spirit, they are heartily sorry. You know, oh my God, I am heartily
but
sorry.
Not everybody, huh?
Really sorry. Yeah, no, not everyone. And if they're
Those
really
are the tough
sorry,
ones,
I mean,
boy.
they're going to cry and they're going to feel bad. And the pain that you feel on your body when you realize what you did is not like any pain you feel here, because when you feel bad here, you can wipe your face, go out and get an ice cream or have a nice dinner and it'll help you. But over there, you don't do that.
Yeah.
We don't get these rewards for ourselves, all right? So you're going to have to sit there and think about it and feel it on yourself, you know, the torment on yourself. Now, when you are really, truly sorry and you realize that was bad, sometimes you don't have to come back and make that up.
Back.
You know,
all right.
unless the person who you did something to doesn't forgive you. Then you have to go back with them and make it up somehow to them for what they did. Try to get them to, you won't know that you're trying to get them, but maybe you'll have a sixth sense about it or something like that. Try to get them to forgive you so that it can be forgiven, because if they can't forgive you, God can't forgive you. And what that means is God forgives everyone, but he can't wipe away the debt because this person is still holding this against you.
Right.
That has to be worked out. We have free will.
We have free will.
So if everything we did could be just wiped off the slate, what have we learned? And where's the free will come in?
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So that's what it means when it's said like that.
Okay. All right. Because I had wondered about that actually. It's somewhere here. I kind of had a because he says it's not our job to speculate. Okay, well, that's another question, but I'll skip it when I get to it. But no, he brought that up, that it's really up to the person that received the unjust act that they forgive you, which kind of confused me a little bit, because I thought, really, God's in charge, you know, and God's in charge of forgiveness all around, and God's in charge of, you know, really He
is, but he won't make you forgive someone. He won't make that person forgive you because he gave us free will.
Right.
The person has to come of his own. Just like the fall that we took from heaven that put us here in the first place. All right. He wants us back so much, but he won't make us come back. Right. We have to learn and realize so that we come back on our own by ourselves, because we love him, because we want to go home.
Right.
All right. He won't force it. It's like I told this story many times on the show. When my son moved away and I want him to be back with me, I said, well, I could build a cell in the basement, lock him in there, give him his meals, and I could go sit there and just look at him and say, oh, I love you so much. And he'll say, I hate you so much for keeping me locked in here because you're forcing your will on me.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
God doesn't do it.
Yeah. Okay.
And what kind of love is it that my son would have for me? It wouldn't be love at all.
Right.
If God were forced. If
Right.
God forced us to do things, we wouldn't love him. That's not his way. Free will is what got us here in the first place, but free will is going to take us back home.
Right. Now, if God asks you, do you forgive this person? And you say, not really. Do you have to go back? What if you don't want to go back?
You can work it out on the other side.
You can work it out on the other side.
There's other planes and other levels that you can go there and work it out. It takes a lot longer.
Right.
But you can work it out.
But you can work it out.
You don't have to incarnate.
You don't have to come back.
As a matter of fact, after a certain period of time, when the earth changes come, so many people are not going to be able to come back
anyways.
because it won't support, the earth won't support this vibration, because the vibration of the earth is going to be raised, and people who are lower thinking won't be able to come here
back
for a long time, till the very end of the world.
Okay, so all right. So how are we doing on time? All right, so
we got another 5 minutes.
If the concept makes sense, right? Things happen for you and not to you. Then when you think about it, it really doesn't make sense anymore to be envious, to be hateful, or to be, mad at other people. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even make sense, because things are happening for you. So the fact that somebody has more money than you has really nothing to do with you. You're here on your journey, and you're supposed to achieve what you're supposed to achieve. Somebody is cuter than you. You're here on your journey. There's a reason you look like why you look like you do. And so it's really, when you think about it, a waste of time to be worried about everybody else.
Look for excuses, That's all we're doing, is looking for excuses.
Yeah, worried about everybody else.
Right.
I mean, there's just no reason for it.
There really isn't.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time and waste of energy. We're not learning anything. As a matter of fact, we're picking up more karma by that kind of thinking.
Right.
So give it up. Give it up. But people, it's not easy for some people. It really isn't.
No.
If you don't recognize yourself, you can't learn and grow. If you don't learn and grow, you can't move on and up.
Right.
You've got to.
Right.
You've got to learn to recognize yourself. You've got to enter some kind of spiritual path and start seeing what's right and what's wrong. Start understanding it and practicing it.
And seeing that you're stuck.
Yeah.
Like if you had terrible parents, that's a reality.
Yeah.
I believe you. You had terrible parents, and it must have been awful for you. But if you stop and think, but why did I have them? What did I learn from this? I mean, you don't know what greatness. I mean, God's always calling us to a greater life. So you don't know what greatness awaits for you. But if you stay stuck, you won't experience that. So maybe it motivates you to be a better parent. Maybe it motivates you to find, kind of somebody else that can step in and parent you. Maybe a lot of things. Maybe you can help the kids, all these different things. Like, why did it happen? What was I supposed to?
And maybe you were a terrible parent in another life. And these parents are showing you how it feels.
And maybe you were, right?
So you just don't know, but you can rest assured it's something. There's no coincidences in life.
Right.
There's a reason why you had those parents. There's a reason why they treated you as they do. Right. When I learned that about my parents, I didn't have the greatest relationship with them. And when I learned that I was a lot like them and that I had picked them, I was like, no way, I would never do that. I had a hard time with that. I mean, I went through my battles with it. And finally, when I accepted it and I started peeking up under the covers and saying, well, yeah, I'm kind of like her. Oh, yeah, I've kind of said that. And I went, oh, my God, she's showing me who I am.
Right. And I think too, I just want to qualify what I just said. I think it's important to anybody that if you're been abused or in an abusive, it's not a flippant way of looking at it. Like, well, I must have picked this and I set this up and I chose this. I mean, you're still... you're a victim. Something's happening to you. Maybe wrong choice of words, but something's happening to you. You need to get help with this. You need to deal. Right. Yeah, you need lots of help.
You can't just listen.
You just can't be like, well, I picked it and walk away. So no, we're not suggesting that at all. No, we're not suggesting that at all.
Get on a spiritual path. That's what I'm saying.
And get the help you need to deal with this and to move forward. That's what we're saying.
That's it.
Yeah.
Move forward. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's a good point you brought up.
Yeah.
I'm glad you made that clear with everyone. Yeah, that's exactly true.
So let's see. All right, so I just want to say...
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, because we're moving along. It was funny. I was watching this video yesterday, and I took a break, and I got on the treadmill, and I'm on YouTube, and I'm watching an interview, and it's with a congressman, and he's talking about victimhood.
Oh.
And so it's very synchronistic, right?
Wow,
I'm like,
yeah.
wow, I just watched this video, and then here I am watching this.
Right.
So I was fascinated with it, and the interviewer was asking him, saying it seems like we're becoming a little bit a country of being victims and victimhood.
For
There's a lot
sure.
of victimhood popping up all over the place.
For sure.
And what do you think about that? And I wrote down what he said. I took
tell us.
notes.
That's interesting.
And he said, and he made a really interesting point, Rosemary, because he said, if we continue to blame others for our lot in life, so we continue to blame our parents, our boss, where we were born, situations, he goes, eventually, if we keep blaming and we don't, take hold of it ourselves, right, then that becomes not enough. So we start expanding who's responsible for our victimhood. So it's no longer just our boss or just our parents. It's the whole family, and then it's where we work, and it's just working in general.
Country.
And it's the country.
And then it's the president.
And it's the president.
Everything.
And then it's the history.
Yeah,
It's what
everything,
happened
everything.
to our ancestors.
Yeah.
And it's never enough, and then it's
You're
the whole
right.
world. I mean,
Good
he made this
point.
point.
He made a good point,
And
yeah.
I thought, that's a really good point. And he basically was saying, like Hans says, we are in charge of our own destiny. We may not like what have happened. We have the right and a good reason not to like what happened, not to accept what happened. But he said, crime, bullies, death, accident, disease, it does happen. We do live here. But he said we have personal responsibility, and he thinks that's what we're losing. It's personal responsibility. We do have the responsibility to ourselves to take care of this, and talk about, like Hans brings up in the video, the law of love, and, self-love. And, we just to love ourselves, have that responsibility. Whether we get into therapy, whether we, whatever we do, go through steps to help yourself.
Get yourself the help you need.
Yeah, so don't stay stuck. I think this is what he's saying in this video.
Yeah,
Things
and you're right.
may happen to you,
It's
but
coming
don't
up
stay
because
stuck.
of the media, and because the media pounces on all this drama with people, especially people, that are celebrities
and it just
and so
holds
forth.
people down. This is the
does.
thing, and that's what I get a little upset with media and, certain, I think people, politicians, they're using people that had something happen to them, and that's what I don't like to see. They're using them, and they're not helping them in any way. They have no desire to.
No.
Because it pushes their agenda, or it makes a sensational story for the news, but they're not really helping people move out of a situation that they're not happy with.
That's right.
And that's what we're talking about.
I
And
know.
that's what he's talking about, I think.
And everybody is everybody's a professor these days on everybody else's problems, Oh, I'm a
Yes.
professional. I can tell you what to do, what you can't do. This is right, this is wrong, whatever. You can't do that.
Right.
And like you say, you're making it worse.
Right.
So, and because of the society we are now, people can't even talk.
Right.
They can't even make a statement of what they believe or how they feel. Even if they're not trying to push that on anyone else, just making a statement,
Well,
they get
sometimes
punched
I
or
think
something
people
for it.
feel good saying, "Oh, I feel so bad for people that whatever," and that makes them feel good. But they're really not helping you if you're one of those people that had whatever happened to you.
You're right.
They're
That's
not
a good
helping
point.
you in any shape
No,
or form.
right.
They're giving you sympathy. They're giving you pity, but they're not helping you
Exactly.
come out of it. And that's who you look for. Look for the people that can actually help you out of it.
That's right. Hans used to say when I first met him, I remember it was cute. We were on a retreat together with the group that we studied with, and I remember he used to say when something was wrong, he'd pat me on the back and he goes, "You want a little pity pat?
Yeah,
a little pity pat.
pat,
Time for the pity pat."
Yes,
I thought
yes.
that was so cute.
And then right.
And now that
and then you
have
step
that,
out of it.
okay,
right.
now get out of it, and
now get out of it. Right.
So that's
right.
good.
Right.
All right.
All right. That was
ended up
good.
Yeah,
I like that.
All right. So now the control room. We'll put the second video up, and we'll talk about that.
Hi, I'm Wilhelm. Today I will share some insights into the very sensitive topic of abortion. The views on abortion are very polarized, but once we look at the big picture, what is life? Why are we here? What is our purpose here on earth? It becomes much easier to understand the topic of abortion.
As I have outlined in my other videos, the spiritual progress and development of a soul in the spiritual worlds, also called the purification spheres, can be very slow and painful. But to speed up our return home, the All-Spirit, God, has given us a divine gift or opportunity to spend a short lifespan as a human being here on earth. During this time, we can clear up our karma much faster and less painful. So life on earth is a schooling and a tremendous privilege. It is God's very precious gift to each one of us. Once we, as a soul, in the spiritual worlds have decided to accept God's gift, we go through a careful planning session with our guardian spirits before we incarnate. During this planning session, we are discussing and considering the best possible life challenges for our spiritual growth in the upcoming life on earth. Look at my video, Life Before Birth. In addition, we may even agree with other souls to join us in our future life as our parents, children, or even as our adversaries to challenge us. This is a very complicated construct, and we often have to wait for the right moment when other very significant souls in our life have also incarnated. This can sometimes take long periods of time until everything perfectly comes together, and the moment is just right for us to incarnate. In addition, we naturally have to find the perfect parents who correspond with our own spiritual vibration and with whom we usually still have karmic ties. So an awful lot of planning goes into the preparation of each single birth or incarnation. When we have found the right parents to be, we may reside around them well before conception. At the moment of conception, we are connected with our future parents by a so-called band of radiation. From time to time, we may inhabit the developing body in the mother to try it out or to make final adjustments. Naturally, we are very excited about this opportunity to enter a new life here on earth. So, if the pregnancy is suddenly disrupted with an abortion, all the preparations, our hopes, our anticipations, all our soul contracts with other souls, the opportunity to atone for our soul burdens, they all come to a crushing halt. That is usually a very painful experience for us as a soul. In some cases, the aborted soul will have the opportunity to enter the body of the mother at her next pregnancy. Or it can also be born to someone else in the family circle, so that the soul will then have the opportunity to interact with the other souls it had agreed to meet in this lifetime and with whom it has karmic ties. Strictly speaking, an abortion is a violation against the law of love, against life, because the embryo was kept alive by the life force of the mother. And it is a violation against the freedom of the soul whose life plan has been abruptly cancelled. But any resulting karma also depends on our motivation, our intention. For instance, have we done the abortion so that we can continue our carefree lifestyle and don't have to be bothered with the upbringing of a child? Or was it a serious medical reason that made us abort the fetus or embryo? Or did somebody else force us to have the abortion? There's also the chance that we have broken a soul contract with the incoming soul that wanted to be our child in this lifetime and with whom we have to clear up karma. You see, there is so much that we simply cannot know, but which can have an effect on our karmic burden. However, the good news is that there is somebody who knows everything and to whom nothing is hidden. That is God, our Father within us. Another word for God is love, the selfless, unlimited, unconditional, and all-inclusive love. God's only desire for us is to return back to Him and to our original perfect state of being. Through Christ's act of redemption, our karmic burden can be more speedily transformed if we feel true repentance and ask for forgiveness and change our way of life. Therefore, a deep prayer or conversation with God or Christ, whoever we feel closer to, can truly make all the difference in our life. We can learn from life experience and know that we are never given more than we can handle. When we feel true repentance, chances are that God or Christ will then connect with the aborted soul and, if necessary, raise its vibration so that the soul will be more willing to fully forgive us. Once the forgiveness has been granted, God's mercy can then eliminate the karmic burden. The surrender to and the direct communication with God or Christ could be the relief many are looking for. When we truly open our heart to divinity, we may also feel God's answer through the peace that may embrace us. Let us also remind ourselves that in everything is also the positive, even in this situation. What have we learned? What have we recognized in ourselves? What have we given over? How will we act next time? When we affirm the good and move it in us, then we experience the help of the All-Spirit, God.
We often forget that the incoming soul is totally aware of everything that's going on. Newborns and even unborn souls have an amazing awareness and memories. Therefore, we can always communicate with a soul who wishes to become our son or daughter. For many years, Elizabeth Garman and Dr. Neil Garman have collected stories from children remembering birth, the womb, conception, heaven, choosing parents, and so on. Some of you may find great comfort and insight in their latest book, Babies Are Cosmic. It also speaks about abortion, miscarriage, and stillbirth. I sincerely hope that this video has been of some help.
Wow, I know. It's
That's
really a heavy topic. Yeah.
It is a very heavy topic.
Yeah. Although that book sounds amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah.
I
I'm going to read that.
I would love to read that.
Yeah.
Just to hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
I know.
This is not an easy thing.
No, this isn't an easy topic, but we're going to dig in.
Yeah.
Okay. So, he makes a good point. I mean, God has provided this avenue of cleaning up our karma faster, which is coming here to Earth. This is like the
right,
gift.
exactly.
Okay?
Yep.
It's a huge gift. But before we come, we just don't willy-nilly come in. Before we come, our soul, which is fully grown, we always think of a little baby as having no say in anything,
Right.
but really the baby had full say. Isn't it an interesting perspective if we think of new babies coming, that they have full say of what's happening? And because it's just such a complex system on the other side that it's hard for us, I think, to fully comprehend, right? But he gets into how there's just so much that has to be planned and everything has to line up, especially if we're supposed to have karmic kind of interactions with other people, and we have to be the same spiritual vibration and all of that. So he said the parents that we choose, there is some karmic tie for some reason. But does it always have to be painful? Does it always have to be a painful reason? In other words, it doesn't have to be something happened to you or you did something to someone and then they become your parent and then they're not a good parent to you, or it doesn't have to be that way.
No, it doesn't have to be. Not every single one is like that. It could be just there's something you came to teach them. Okay. Well, that
makes sense.
Yeah, there's something or that they have something to teach you. It could be just all a teaching experience.
So it could be, so you can have we tend to talk about terrible childhoods, but you can have a very good childhood.
Oh yeah.
And
you see how it is.
And then there is a reason for that.
And along the line, if the child came in, parents were good, child had a good life, that may have been what was meant for him to go on and help other people in the world and do all these great things. You just really never know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know the reason.
You're right. The percentage of people who have bad childhood is not greater than the percentage that doesn't. There isn't. So
right.
There's so many reasons we can't question it. Because we really don't know. We
don't know. I mean, it's fun to think about. I mean, I look at I've done some regression and had it done to me, regression work. And and I think about it like this life, I really loved motherhood, okay? I continue to love it, but they're adult children now. But I mean, I really loved being a mother,
Yeah.
all right? And probably more than a lot of women do, right? You know, and I think, why is that? Why did I enjoy it to the extent that I did? And then when I started walking down this path and exploring all kinds of things and did like regression and stuff, you know, it came out that I really wasn't a mother many times in past life.
Okay.
Okay. And when I was a mother in past life, it was never pleasant. You know, so it was just kind of like, oh, all right. So I think sometimes the opposite. I don't know how you feel about this, but maybe we don't always. I don't want to go totally down this path, but maybe we don't. Maybe we don't always come back to fix something. Maybe we come back to just experience something pleasant.
Yes.
You know, so maybe it's just, you know what?
Sure.
I wasn't a mother much, or I didn't enjoy being a mother much. I'm coming back to enjoy being a mother. What does that feel like?
Right.
Which would help with my spiritual growth,
That'll help
too.
with your spiritual growth, too.
Yeah, it's so
it's
amazing.
a good point. Yeah,
it's so amazing. I mean, all of it.
Not everything is all bad and punishment.
No, it's not all that.
No, not at all.
Okay, so he said, so this I was a little confused. Han says, time to time we may inhabit the body in the mother, this is when we're still a soul, to try it out or make final adjustments. Can you explain that?
You know, I really can't explain it very well. I mean, I know that maybe for the soul coming in when we go in, we're getting used to the fit or how it's going to be when we get born or whatever. Maybe we go and when we're in there, we can kind of get the vibration of the parents, you know, because we go in and out until the moment of birth. Then we're in for good.
Yes,
you know, that's when you really, you know, and usually when the baby's kicking is when the spirit is in there. For good or just no, it just
doesn't
for them.
matter. Yeah, they can still
on and off through the 9 months. You know, they're in and out, seeing you know a fit how it's going to be. You know, and what it'll be like when they're going to be born. You know, I don't know exactly. I can't answer you 100% on what the thoughts are, but there's a reason.
Right.
So
Okay. All right. So he says, so if you do abort, then all the preparation that was done for this soul and all the opportunities that were aligned, it just sort of has this ripple effect with other souls because everything is just terminated. So there's, you know, but my thought was, if you're in heaven and you're preparing for this and you're selecting this mother and father, you do kind of know what you're getting into. In other words, you do sort of know if the mother is like somebody who has no intention of having a child right now. And then, so why would you pick somebody that really has no intention of, whether that person be 16 or 36, but whatever they're doing in their life, they really don't want a baby.
I don't think you pick, I think that the angels, your teachers, your guides help you to find the correct parents for what you are going to be doing in this life. So I'm sure that when they do, I would say probably 95% of the time, the woman's not going to have an abortion. But there are times when something changes down there, you know. I mean, we have free will, and of course it'll happen, you know. And then, like he said, you have to wait. So that's why people should think. Well, they say over here, they say on Earth, to take the life, it's taking a life of a person.
Right.
But we know from there, it's not taking life; it's refusing them life to come in to work out whatever they have.
It's an interesting way of looking at it. But I just don't see where the huge I don't understand where the huge disappointment is on their part, on the other side, because you know the situation. Say it's somebody 16 and you know the situation. Say it's somebody who's 36 and has 10 kids. You know the situation. Like you know the situation. You know, you may even know the situation that they're going to be forced to make a medical decision. Like, you know the situation, so I don't understand. It almost seems like it's really more for the person on Earth to learn from this than it be a huge disappointment to a soul on the other side.
Well,
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and I just got an answer for that.
Okay.
Okay. like I said, this is planned by your teachers and guides. They find the right parents for you to accomplish your mission that you want to have. If it's someone who's like 16 and got pregnant and doesn't want to have the baby, maybe the spirit is not in the body, and I don't know that he's planning to go in there at all. Whole thing may have just been like, usually you'll have that abortion in 3 months. Okay, so 3 months down the road, I think that he never was going to go in there. This pregnancy, lost the baby, and the person who was going to come in, I don't think there was anybody going to come into that particular. I don't think there was going to be a life. Like you said, they would know.
I see.
So they know, okay, you don't. But then you get someone who's married, want the baby, and I don't know. There could be a bunch of reasons. Maybe 6 months down the road, God forbid, the husband dies or something.
Right, I see.
And the wife decides she didn't want it. But I don't think that'll happen because they want it even more.
Right.
I don't know what the reason would be. But then, if she did decide to do that, that would be the disappointment for the new baby.
Okay, because they really thought that this was going to happen. So they're picking people that they really thought that this was going to happen. But God doesn't force
anyone to do anything. So there can always be a change in a person's attitude.
Okay.
And then there are people who, they want to have the child, but the parents won't let them have it. Or the husband doesn't want it, or something down the road,
Right.
And if the woman goes through a condition where she loses the baby, the baby wasn't going to come in there anyway. And next time it will. Or like you said, it'll incarnate in someone in the family that's close enough so you can still be with people they want to be with.
Yeah, that was interesting that that soul could go to somebody else in the family instead, or it could come to you.
Just wait, for another time.
If it wanted to wait like a few years or something like that. All right. And all right. So how are we doing on time? All right.
Oh, we got
so
7
I
minutes.
see why. I remember I
6
said
minutes.
in the last segment, I'm like, geez, I thought I asked that question, but it was here that I asked that question when God asked the aborted soul if they agree to forgive the person. So you can ask God to forgive you for the abortion, but the God then asks the aborted soul, and they get to say. So that's what I meant when I asked it in the last segment. It was for this particular one. I didn't understand that the whole free will thing that you explained the last time, and that's why. Okay.
I can tell you a story about a woman, young girl, probably about 20, and she got pregnant from a man who told her he couldn't get her pregnant, but because his sperm count was not high enough. But I think he was lying because she got pregnant. And then he abandoned her. And she really wanted it. She wanted that baby. She felt love for it and everything. I want to keep it. But her parents were very strict. And she was close with an aunt. And she talked to the aunt about it. She told him how she wanted to keep it. She told him what happened. She never told her parents. And the aunt said, and she told him, she said, I want to keep it. And the aunt said, why are you crazy? They'll kill you. They'll kill you. They won't let you do that. They won't, And she kept, but I want to. And she tried. And then she realized that it was, she was more afraid of her parents than anything. So she decided to have an abortion. But she didn't want to. And she always missed that baby, and she found out as the abortion it was a boy, and she always missed that she didn't have it. And she prayed. She prays all the time to God, and she was sorry and everything, and so those are the circumstances that happen sometimes too.
Sometimes people are forced. I mean, sometimes people are. So you just pray, and God knows what's in your heart, Right. And so that's another situation that can happen. Right. So I just told those women that if it happened to, don't feel alone. A lot of people, it happens to a lot of people. So that's the situation. And like I said, when you're going to go there, it's all planned. And your angels actually plan it for you. I don't think you pick. They pick for you. Like that movie Astral City that we've talked about. It's in there. When you'll see it when they pick. They plan it. And they say, okay, this is what's going to be best. And they tell you, and then you can agree or disagree. You have free will. Exactly. I don't want to go. I want to stay here for a while more. But okay. Right. Right.
sooner or later. Mm-hmm. Or you could work it out over there in spirit, but it's harder because you're all with your people of like mind, and nobody's telling you you're making any mistakes. They're all going to tell you, "Hey, that's okay. You're great," because you're just like them.
Right.
Kind of funny, but you know. But like he said, it's a privilege and an honor to be able to be born here. Because on this planet, you can get it done very quickly.
Well, he gives us another perspective,
Yeah.
you know, to abortion, because we just tend to think of this controversial topic as, well, right to life, right to choose, right? And then that's it. We just think of it, right to life, right to choose. And he's showing, well, a different perspective. Well, think of it in terms of a soul, and think of the soul coming in, and then thinking, you know, the soul is choosing you as a parent for a reason. And so to think of all these, you know, I don't know, it's just a different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think too, like when he talked about that book, I was telling you before the show, on my show, Spiritual Invitation, I interviewed Kim O'Neill. Do you know her?
No.
She's an angel intuitive. She's written lots of books. But she wrote a book, and I talked to her about it, Bond with Your Baby Before Birth. It's on YouTube. People can look it up. And I find that it really helps people with all kinds of things, like in terms of if you've miscarried or you're having difficulty getting pregnant. There's a reason for this. It's not you. Women always tend to blame themselves, but you know, it's not you. There's different reasons, and she, you know, kind of explores that a little bit.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So to think in terms, yeah.
Well, we've coming to the end, and there's so much to really, you know, talk about, but I think we covered it pretty well.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
so
it's
those people who had abortion,
right,
or planning or thinking of it or whatever, can have a little insight as to what happens.
Have a little insight. That's it. Yeah, that's it. We don't tell people what to do.
No, not at all. Never tell anyone what to do.
Don't want the job.
No. And that's not what the show is about. It's
don't want the job.
Food for thought, information, and do with it what you want.
Exactly.
But
something to think about.
Right.
I mean, it's fun to think about, really. I mean, it's interesting to think about.
That's right.
You know, helps you grow. I mean, I know I like having new ideas thrown at me. Like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Right. You never realize what it's all about, what life is all about, what things mean for different people, all those kinds of things. You know, you just don't realize until you get into the spiritual path. You know.
Right.
So.
Right. If we don't live our lives being like on a myopic path, just like envisioning what if possibilities.
That's right.
You know.
Okay, sweetie.
Okay,
we got to
ready.
give our contact information now. Okay. For me, Rosemary LaChance, phone 203-627-7966. My email is whitebuffalo8@comcast.net. My website is www.rosemarylachance.com, and the website www.gabrielle-publishing-house.com is a wonderful website where I have learned all the things that I know, and so has Hans. And there's so many books there for you to read, so much information. I hope you go on there and just shop around. Okay, Carla?
Yep, and you can get a hold of me on my website at carlaaugustin.com, and please watch my show on YouTube. It's called Spiritual Invitation. Just type my name into the search and all the episodes come up.
Okay, well,
all right, we're ready.
That's it for now.
That's it. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much. We hope you helped you. Let us know. Get in touch with us. Okay?
Bye-bye.
Fill your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands.